Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Unsupportable. The mainstream media has the world in a frenzy, claiming the Pope supports the Occupy Wall Street movement after the release of a new document written by the Vatican's Department of Justice and Peace. According to Sparrow News, the head of the department in the Vatican, Cardinal Peter Turkson, is clarifying the document denounces neoliberal thinking, which blames greed and the hoarding of wealth as the source of the world's economic problems. He says, quote, "The people on Wall Street need to sit down and go through a process of discernment and see whether their role managing the finances of the world is actually serving the interests of humanity and the common good," end quote. It should be noted that this document does not come directly from the Pope, is not infallible doctrine, and so cannot be proclaimed even as his opinion. South African Satanists. A young girl is now hospitalized, reportedly after Satanists tried burning her alive, dousing her with petrol, and setting her ablaze. A paper reporting the incident in Johannesburg, South Africa, says one of Christi Theologo's attackers cut a third girl's hand and placed it on a Bible so the blood could soak into the pages, while her sister Samantha was burned herself as she tried putting out the flames. The girls had to walk 2 kilometers before they could get help from their pastor, who drove them to the hospital. Police report 2 men aged 19 and 21 have turned themselves in as the search continues for the others involved in the deadly ritual. Sexual anorexia. Pornography may be considered a social norm, but what male consumers may not realize is its tendency to completely destroy the ability to even participate in marital relations. TheBlaze.com reports on a recent study naming what has been termed, quote, sexual anorexia as a consistent problem or complete anatomical dysfunction caused by psychological trauma associated with regular indulgence in pornographic materials. Simply put, the internet erotica numbs men's pleasure receptacles in the brain, delivering endless hits of the neurochemical dopamine and desensitizing them to the physical realities of healthy marital sex. The magazine Psychology Today points out that many young people are seeking help after being physically affected by the emotional trauma of indulging in the sins of pornography and self-abuse. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Cultural Catholics. 1 out of every 4 people in America call themselves Catholic, though how many actually live their faith is incredibly sad. The latest study on Catholics, published in USA Today, says a whopping 86% of Catholic adults say, quote, "You can disagree with aspects of church teachings and still remain loyal to the church." 40% say you can be a good Catholic without believing in the transubstantiation of the bread and wine at Mass into the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. There are quite a few other numbers suggesting the devastation the Catholic Church faces at the hands of a church in crisis. Meanwhile, 2 American bishops are keeping their eye on the ball with pro-baseball bets. 2 collegial buddies, members of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, have taken the nation's pastime to heart, announcing a personal wager on who will win the World Series. A joint national press release and a complimentary article from the Catholic News Agency are both announcing that Archbishop Robert Carlson of St. Louis, Missouri, has challenged Bishop Van of Fort Worth, Texas, to a high-stakes bet. If Carlton loses, he will be sending Bishop Van loads of local goodies, including Schlafly beer and Gus's pretzels, while should Van lose, he will be sending a care package of Texas barbecue and a cowboy hat. Not only that, the winner will receive a donation of $10 per run scored in the World Series, paid to their local Catholic charities. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about know-it-alls. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us, and as always, God bless.